The Supreme Court has made it significantly harder for brand-name drug makers to sue generic competitors, even when those generics end up being used for purposes the brand-name company has patented. In a unanimous decision, the justices ruled that simply suggesting or implying a doctor might prescribe a generic drug for a patented use is not enough to win a lawsuit. The company has to be caught actively, deliberately pushing doctors toward that patented use. Nine Robes uses non-partisan, everyday language to focus on the facts of what the Supreme Court is saying. Here, you'll find clear, concise summaries of every Supreme Court opinion, stripped of legalese and clickbait headlines. Each post breaks down the facts, explains the court's reasoning, and highlights the crucial details that often go unnoticed. It's not just about what the court decided. It's about why those decisions matter. To give you a deeper understanding of the cases that define our nation's legal landscape. These summaries are generated by AI. Be careful and consult reputable sources when in doubt. Amarin Pharma developed Vascepa, a fish oil-based drug approved by the FDA in 2012 to treat dangerously high triglycerides, a type of fat in the blood. 7 years later, the FDA approved it for a second use, reducing the risk of heart attacks and strokes in patients already taking cholesterol medications. Amarin patented that second use. When generic competitor Hikma Pharmaceuticals got approval to sell a generic version, it was only approved for the first use, the high triglycerides. Hikma used what's called a skinny label, meaning it intentionally left off the heart disease use to avoid stepping on Amarin's patent. But Amarin sued anyway. The company argued that when you looked at everything Hikma did together, the label, the website, the patient information sheets, the press releases, it all added up to a wink and a nudge, telling doctors to prescribe the generic for the patented heart use. The Supreme Court disagreed. Amarin pointed to several things Hikma had done that, taken together, it said amounted to encouragement. Hikma's label mentioned a clinical study involving heart patients. Its patient leaflet warned about heart-related side effects and noted that doctors sometimes prescribe drugs for uses not on the label. Its website used broad disease categories and suggested the generic was interchangeable with the brand name version. Its press releases talked about total Vascepa sales without clarifying the generic was only approved for the narrower use. Amarin argued this was a coordinated campaign designed to steer doctors toward the patented use. The Supreme Court, in a decision written by Justice Jackson, unanimously sided with Hikma. The justices said Amarin had not proven its case. To win this type of lawsuit, a patent holder must show three things. Someone actually used the drug in a way that violated the patent, the generic company knew this would happen, and the generic company took deliberate steps to encourage it. The question was whether Hikma had done that third thing. The court rejected the approach some lower courts had been using. Those courts asked whether a doctor could read Hikma's statements as encouragement to prescribe for the patented use. The Supreme Court said that was wrong. What matters is whether the company was actually trying to encourage infringement, not whether someone might interpret its words that way. The justices sorted Hikma's statements into three buckets. Some had obvious, innocent explanations, like following federal law or doing what every other company does. Others were simply things Hikma did not say, and the court made clear that silence is not the same as active encouragement. The rest were too vague to prove the company was deliberately pushing doctors toward patent infringement. This decision protects ordinary generic competition. Federal law requires generic labels to closely match brand name labels, and pharmacists in all 50 states can substitute generics when doctors prescribe the brand name. The natural result is that generics sometimes get used for patented purposes, even without the generic company's approval or encouragement. The court made clear that simply knowing this will happen is not enough to make a company legally responsible. A brand name company cannot win a lawsuit just by showing that a generic company's statements could be misread as encouragement. That said, the court did not give generic companies a free pass. If a company is caught actively, deliberately promoting a patented use, it can still be held liable. The difference is between ordinary business practices and real wrongdoing. This ruling protects generic drug competition while still holding companies accountable if they cross the line into deliberately promoting patented uses. For patients and consumers, it means generic drugs will remain a competitive force in the market. For brand name companies, it means they need clear evidence of intentional wrongdoing, not just circumstantial suggestions, to win these lawsuits. Find us online at 9robes.ai. That's the number 9robes.ai. Like and share this podcast with friends that like to be informed. 9 Robes provides AI summaries of U.S. Supreme Court cases. AI makes mistakes. People make mistakes too. We genuinely do our best to provide you with the most accurate summaries, but our best sometimes includes errors.